All right, so we want to do a modified version of number 28 from 8.3.
Yes.
Lilana only wants us to find the x and y intercept.
The odds are
Lilana.
Ask her.
However.
Smells like baby pepper.
Okay, so I want to find the x and y intercepts. How the heck do I do that?
Well, there's already one right there. The x-intercept is +4.
The y.
The y.
Is it though?
That works when you've got a line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. See, that's
So-
like weird.
Maybe this is what we want to think. If we make a xy plane, right?
So
I just want to think about what's going on here. I make absolutely no claims that this is the right function. Okay? But what does this thing roughly look like?
It's gonna be a mountain.
shift. A shift and a flip.
Yeah, it's some kind of shifting. There's a left, right. There's also some kind of weird thing I don't know about, right? That's some kind of a stretch, but I don't know how it works because we didn't learn that one. And then there's some kind of a shift up, and then it's flipped over, right?
Right.
Okay, so maybe ballpark, it looks like a V like this, right? I just want to know what the x and y intercepts are, though, right? I don't actually need a graph for this, although I could come up with one by plugging some points in and kind of fitting a V through it. It might be easier for finding x and y intercepts to just think about what do these mean. What does it mean when it crosses the x-axis?
One of the other is 0. One of the points is 0.
That's y is 0, right? So this guy's going to look
One
like,
of the points.
I don't know, comma 0. The other one's going to look like, I don't know, comma 0, right? And then what's this y-intercept? What's that going to look like?
0, comma, I don't know.
0, comma, huh? Right? And then we want to think about these, right? These are all on the graph. And points on the graph should be a,
Input, output.
yeah, an input-output pair or an x, comma, f of x, right? You guys see that?
Yeah.
So for some of these, I'm going to put 0 in for f, and for some, I'm going to put 0 in for x, right? You guys see that?
Totally.
Okay, so which one's which?
Y-intercept would be like 0 equals the function.
Which one's the y-intercept? Is that this one or these ones?
I'm in.
Okay, the x-intercepts are the zeros in the f of x spot, right? So the x-intercepts are always 0 equals f of x. This goes beyond this function, right? You guys all see that? This works for whatever function. Whenever you're trying to find an x-intercept, you just set 0 equal to the function rule. When you're trying to find a y-intercept, what do? Yeah, set x to 0 and then put it in. So you're looking for f of 0. You guys see that?
Yeah.
This one's a, what kind of, solve or evaluate?
So
Yeah, this one's a solve, that one's a evaluate. That one's going to be easier, right? Okay, so I'm going to do that one to warm up. Cool. How do I put 0 into the rule for f? Okay, so I should write down my rule and maybe do Story's trick and just put in a paren for x, right? And then what goes in the parens?
0.
0. Okay, then I have to use order of operations to simplify this bugger out, right? Okay, so where do I look first?
Inside the absolute line.
Set the grouping symbols, right?
Yes.
So in the grouping symbols, what have I got?
3.
1.
Oh, sorry. 1.
2 times
Yes.
0 is 0 plus 1 is 1.
Let's just ignore the fact that it's 2 times 0.
Don't worry, you're not the only person to ever do that. Be careful with them. All right, what's the absolute value of 1?
1.
1. So I've got here
5, 3.
negative 1 plus 4
Which equals
gives you 3.
she was just
See, I called it way earlier.
So why doesn't the negative go away when you do the absolute value?
Outside.
Yeah, because it's outside. Cool. All right, so my y-intercept is 3. If you wanted to phrase it as a point, you certainly could. It would be phrased as 0, 3, right? So either y-intercept is 3 or 0, 3. I don't care which of these you use.
And the vertex.
How about these guys? How about the x-intercepts? How do I do those? Magic, basically. Here we're going to set 0 equal to the function rule, right? So 0 should be negative the absolute value of 2x plus 1 plus 4.
So, subtract 4.
Okay, so I should subtract 4 to the other side. So I got negative 4 is negative the absolute value of 2x plus 1. Oops, wrong symbol. Now what? What's this thing?
Drop those.
Do
and
what's
plus or
inside
minus
it.
the other
I
side.
would have gotten rid of the negative first.
Yeah, I'd slap the negatives out of there.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
multiply them.
So that's what I thought you meant by this thing, was divide or multiply by negative 1 and flip both the signs.
Yes, okay. Totally
So multiply by negative 1, or flip both the signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got 4 is the absolute value of 2x plus 1. What does that mean?
Well, everything's positive, so you just take the absolute value lines away.
But you'd have to, you don't know if it's going to be positive or negative since it's
You guys
just a
see that?
distance away. So you'd have to make the other side plus 1.
I'm not sure if this stuff that I put in there is positive or negative, right? I know that after I do the absolute value to it, I get 4, right?
Yeah.
So that means that the stuff that was in here was either positive 4 or maybe negative 4. You guys see that? So I take that, and that's kind of a funny bit of reasoning here. It's like unabsolute value or something. This is like a really bizarre idea that I really recommend you just kind of reason your way through, right? So either 2x plus 1 is 4 or 2x plus 1 is minus 4 so that the absolute value is right. So I got 2x plus 1 is 4 or 2x plus 1 is minus 4.
Or is it?
For some reason, that's a very common ringtone. They don't know why. All right, what do I do with this? Subtract 1 for both sides. Oh yeah, on both things, right? You guys see that?
Yeah.
We really maybe could write 2x plus 1 is plus or minus 4. Save ourselves some writing. So I got 2x is 3, or 2x is negative 5. Then what?
Divide by 2.
Then divide by 2. Again on both of them, right? So I got x is,
3.
or x is
3 halves,
3 halves, or
negative 5 halves.
negative 5 halves. So maybe I would phrase my x-intercepts are 3 halves and negative 5 halves. Or I would say the points 0, comma 3 halves. Wait, is that right?
No.
Why not?
Because that would be
3 halves, comma 0.
Yeah, because that would be a y-intercept, right? I want x, comma 0. So I might say x-intercepts are 0, 3 halves. Wait, I did it again.
3 halves.
3 halves 0 and negative 5 halves 0.
Yeah.
Do you
Cool.
need us to like know how to mathematically find the vertex as well, or
Like,
Vertex is right.
Yeah, where's the vertex on this one? You guys know?
+4.
This is a crappy drawing of a V because it should be symmetrical, right? So if it's symmetrical, the vertex should be halfway in between the pieces, right? You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So what's halfway in between 3 halves and minus 5 halves? Is that question really hard? How about this? How far apart are 3 halves and minus 5 halves?
2.
Well, it's a negative. So yeah, 8.
8 halves. They're 4 units apart,
Oh, yeah, the 8.
right?
2.
Yeah.
So half of 4 is 2. So it should be 2 from the bottom one, and 2 from the top one is halfway, right?
Can we figure out how to do it mathematically?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you hear me
So if we
say
put them
2,
on a number line,
by the way?
negative 5 halves is here, and 3 halves is there, right? This distance should be 4 across here, so these halves should be 2. So I want to add 2 to 5, negative 5 halves. You guys see that?
It's also easy to see like as a mixed number.
Yeah.
Because then you can see one of them is definitely at least 2 and one of them is definitely not 2. So what's in between those? Well, negative 2 and 2.
Yeah, we could do it that way. Another way we could do is we could just add them together and divide by 2. That's averaging. If you add them together and divide by 2, you'll get negative a half,
Yeah.
which is 2 subtracted from 3 halves.
How is it 4 across?
So that vertex on ours happens at negative 1/2.
But it doesn't want the y.
If I want the y, what do I do? This point should be a negative 1/2 comma.
Plug it in.
Yeah, it should be negative 1/2 comma the output for negative 1/2, right? So I could take negative 1/2 and plug it into my function rule. You guys see that?
So
You get
it's
4
like-
out of it.
Is that just a coincidence that it's that last number, or is it?
Not really. It's a V shape, right?
Yeah.
So the highest it's ever going to get, or the lowest it's ever going to get is that vertical shift.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. We could eyeball that, but that's kind of deep. I'm not so concerned if you guys can do this last bit, but if you guys could find the x and y intercepts, that would be really great. Cool. That's actually maybe a better example for an 8.5 kind of thing.
You don't care about the vertex.
No, I do care about the vertex. It's not so much right this moment. Cool? Questions for these? Okay.